Hey everyone, welcome back. Today's video is going to be all about the best eyeshadow palettes sold at Sephora. Caveat Sephora in the US, because I know that Sephora does not carry all the same brands in different parts of the world. I know that they have Zoeva in Europe and I think MAC in Canada. So these are brands that are sold US Sephora. But the Sephora VIB sale is still going on through November 7th. I already did a recommendations video and a haul, so you can check those out. I will link them in the cards. But eyeshadow is my favorite part of makeup, and I wanted to expand on the eyeshadow part because I feel like I didn't get to mention all my favorite palettes in my Sephora recommendations video. There are plenty of affordable palettes that I love though, and I was thinking of maybe doing this same video for Ulta or also indie brands. I don't know, let me know what you think. If you have not subscribed, please do so. I upload 4 videos a week, and yeah, let's get started. Now, I'm gonna try not to make this video all about Natasha Denona, but I have plenty of Natasha Denona palettes to mention. Now, my first recommendation would be the mini palettes. These are $27 now, but if you can get these for 15 or 20% off, I think that it is a very good deal. The mini glam is absolutely stunning. The quality on this one is particularly beautiful. Also the mini Zendo. This one's a really unique color story. So some of these have more mattes and some have more shimmers. As you can tell, the ratio does vary per palette. So that's something to keep in mind. Mini Love, absolutely beautiful, and mini Biba. Now, out of the ones I have, I don't think that any of these like totally dupe their full size, partners, if you will. But I know that some of the minis do. Like, I think that people have said that at least 1 or 2 of the shades in the mini bronze is in the mid-size bronze. So that one I have not purchased. And I also know that when she had mini Metropolis, it did have repeat shades from Metropolis. So I never purchased that one. But I'm pretty sure that was limited edition anyway, and it's not at Sephora. But mini Biba, amazing. I really do think these are fantastic. Now, I'm going to talk about some other Natasha Denona palettes, but let's take a bit of a break, talk about some other brands. Urban Decay Naked Honey. This palette is sold at Sephora, and I am here to tell you, I love this palette. It is absolutely beautiful. And if you want to see looks with these palettes, check out my makeup looks playlist because I have filmed looks with not all, but a lot of these palettes. But for sure, I know that I have done a look with this palette. I think this is one of the best formulated by Urban Decay. It is so smooth. The shimmers, the mattes are fantastic. It's a really pretty color story if you like warm browns and those honey golden shades. So if those are the tones you are attracted to, I do highly recommend this palette. I think it is really, really good. I think it's great. I don't think all Urban Decay palettes are as good as this one, but this one is very, very fantastic. Okay, also Patrick Ta. I do not have the first Major Dimension palette, but the Major Dimension 2 is absolutely gorgeous. If you like neutrals that are leaning pink, it's not that pink, to be honest. I did a review and look on this palette when it first released a few months ago, so you can check that video out. Also, yeah, FYI, if you're ever wondering if a specific YouTuber has a video on something, each channel page has a little search bar where you can search just that person's channel. FYI, if you didn't know that. So you can search for my video on this one if you do want to see it. I don't really think this pulls as pink as some other pink tone palettes, which I think for a lot of people who are looking for something more neutral, then I think this is actually a very, very good option. I think the formula is beautiful. This one is a little bit pricey. I think these are around $70, and I know that one I did buy at the Sephora sale earlier this year. So I feel like the Patrick Ta brand, it's definitely on the expensive side. So, I would recommend getting it on sale if you can. I have several other brands to talk about, but let's just finish out the whole Natasha Denona thing. I do think that the mid-size palettes are amazing. Now, you've heard me talk about these a million times and lots of other people on YouTube, but personally, I really enjoy the mid-size palettes. They're my personal favorite because you get more shade options than the mini palettes, but they're not as expensive as her larger palettes. So this is the mid-size retro, which is beautiful if you like mauve tones. If you want a cool neutral palette, then definitely the Glam. And I think that this is more cool toned than mini Glam. This is more true neutral. This is a bit more cool toned, but honestly, this is not super cool toned. So if you are afraid of like gray eyeshadow, then actually I think this is a good palette because it's definitely not as cool leaning as some other palettes out there. Now, if you like warm tones, bronze palette, this one's amazing. Definitely golds, and a lot of these shades on this side pull red, which I like. I love red eyeshadow, so personally, I am a big fan of that one. And then one of her more expensive palettes is the full-size Biba. This one is, I think, $129. And again, let me give you a little side-by-side. Mini Biba is more peachy. I don't know if you can tell. I think side by side they may look more similar than they are in real life. In real life, this pulls more peach than this one, which is neutral. And then you've got like this cool row here, and then some of these are more warm tones. There's something about this palette, I've said it before, the formula on it is almost better than her other palettes, which is kind of crazy, but it is also more expensive. But I really, really like the full-size Biba. Okay, we are done with Natasha Denona. The Melt Cosmetics Gemini 2. This one is gorgeous. If you enjoy very highly pigmented shadows, definitely this would be something to look at. The Melt Cosmetics formula is very high pigment. This side is very rosy, and then you have 3 green shades here. I think this one is absolutely stunning. Now, this is a mostly matte palette, so some people may not want that. Some people may want more shimmers, so something to keep in mind. Again, I did a review video on that one when it came out, and I still love it. Also, Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk palette. I think this is great. I really do. I like her larger palettes like this. I prefer this formula to the quads. I've said that a million times, but I do. And this is definitely more pink than like the Patrick Ta. The Patrick Ta pulls more neutral. This one is neutral, but definitely like pinky neutral. This trio here is absolutely stunning. And then you have some more natural shades here. Some of these in the pan, they look a bit boring, but honestly on the eyes, they look a lot prettier. So personally, I do recommend that palette. Now, Pat McGrath, she has more palettes than what is sold at Sephora. Not all her palettes are sold there anymore. A lot of them are exclusive to her website. But Divine Rose 2 you can purchase at Sephora, and I love this one. I mean, this has some of those pinky taupes that you see a little bit of in retro, but this palette is a lot more intense. You have this amazing duochrome, you have this very bright pink. This is a very stunning palette, and it is very intense, and you can do very bold looks with it. You can also do some bit more subdued looks, like using these taupe colors here, but it's still pretty dramatic looking, honestly, which I like. I definitely prefer dramatic eyeshadow over subtle. That's more my taste, but yeah, this one is absolutely fantastic. Okay, the last palette is a newer palette to my collection, the Huda Beauty Empowered palette. And this was my first time ever purchasing one of these larger Huda Beauty palettes. I had one of the smaller ones, and I didn't feel that the quality was as good. This is beautiful though. This formula is amazing. Now, color story, this is not super unique. It's mostly neutral with a bit of purple and a bit of peach, but it's very, very pretty. I did do a get ready with me using this. It was a Sephora try on haul just recently. You can check that out if you want to see this palette in action, but I am very impressed with this formula. I really, really am. It does have these two like cream colors here, which I still haven't used. I mentioned in that video that I hadn't used them yet. Still hasn't happened. But people say that they are good. But yeah, I just think this is very, very well formulated. It's absolutely fantastic. It's so much better than the other Huda Beauty palette that I tried a couple years ago. It does seem like her formula may vary a bit palette to palette, and some of you guys have told me that was your experience as well, but this one is a hit. I really, really enjoy it. So that's it for this video. Lots of eyeshadow palettes, but I really think these are some of my favorite palettes in my collection. So, and I have a large collection. I have over 100 palettes. So if you want to see a similar video for like affordable brands, Ulta, let me know, because I have a wide variety of palettes in my collection. I don't just have like high-end palettes. So yeah, that is it for this video. And if you didn't see my Sephora recommendations and my haul, I will link those in the card so you can check them out. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.